Hey, and welcome to the broadcast of Glue Monday. Yes, for those of you who are watching the broadcast instead of the live event, if this is your first time, what I do, Glue Monday is born from what was actually Glue Wednesday, where a lot of people said that Wednesday was the middle of a week, and so it was called Hump Day. But it was the middle of a 5-day work week. See, in the old school, we didn't count anything but the weekend, the weekdays, and the weekend. And so that's why the cliche became that Wednesday was hump day because it was a day where it was getting close to Friday. But I say that Wednesday is the actual middle of a traditional 7-day week, regardless of what days of the week you work. So it keeps the week beginning and the week end together. So it's the glue. And see, it puts us in a prayerful mode right away. And that's why I call it GLUE. God's love undoes everything. And so that's why I created Glue Wednesday. During the pandemic, I've extended it to Glue Monday and Friday as well. So that's why I'll have try to have a different message each day. And hey, Aileen, good to see you. And so right now I'm on early. If you ever do a Facebook Live broadcast, try to get on 3 to 5 minutes early, ideally 5, because it gives Facebook a chance to do what they call build the audience. So it sends out the announcement saying Sporty King is on live or you're on live. And by the way, you can also program your Facebook. I think it pops up an offer right now or somewhere in there saying, would you like to be notified when next time Sporty goes live? So that's one of the things that you could be doing as well. But when you are going live, you get on early so Facebook can run around and let everybody know, because somebody could be doing something and say, oh my God, that's right, I want to be on that. See, so now they got time. So we've got less than 3 minutes for today's message. And then what I've done is because I'm using some new technology, not new for me or for those who've been on before, but in case those of you don't know about StreamYard. There's some technology called StreamYard because everybody knows about Zoom, or at least has heard of Zoom and Google Meet. StreamYard is not really an equal to that, but what it does is, for instance, you see the little caption there with my name. It allows you to put those types of things in. The difference is for me right now that it has a time delay. So when I'm doing my live broadcast on StreamYard, if you put a comment in the box, I can't see it. So what I've done is I put my phone up where I can see you as you come on and maybe see the comments. And sometimes that'll keep me from going forward to answer a question, as my regulars know. And we have a good time, making this a more interactive session than people may have thought it would be. So, so right now I'm on StreamYard, and I've got less than 2 minutes to go for today's message. I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina, by the way, and it's so funny because yesterday my sister called me. She said, "Oh, did you feel the earthquake?" I didn't. And then last night a friend of mine called me and said, "Oh yeah, I heard you had an earthquake. Did you feel it?" And I said, "No, I wouldn't know how it feels because I was up." My sister told me that it had happened at 8 o'clock in the morning, and then I did see it on the news later, say it was a 5.1. I was up at 8 o'clock, but I don't particularly remember feeling my house shake, and I don't know if it's an older house, so you hear pipes make noise all the time and everything like that. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but I never knew that we were having an earthquake, and so I had to miss it and just read about it on the news. We got less than a minute to go for today's message, so let's get ready to get started on that. Okay, but yes, but I think that's so cool. I do. I think it's cool that we had an earthquake. Whatever, you might not have that on your live it list. Now, some people call it a bucket list. I call it a live it list. You may not have certain things on your live it list, but you have experiences. Sometimes you don't know what you want to experience, and maybe you don't necessarily want to experience, but guess what? Once you survive something, now it's something that in retrospect you could put on your list to say, wow, Just the same way you're checking off things that you put on there, you can now check off things that have happened that you had not particularly decided that you wanted to happen, but you made it through. So it's like, wow, I did that. So, really tune into yourself and what's going on your live it list as you're learning and living life, life's learning experiences. So even as we walk that into today, that's why today's message is about power, because I want to talk about power. I looked back at the broadcast that I did on Friday, and I mentioned something to you guys about how important it was for you to kind of keep me grounded and in check as a messenger, and in terms of because sometimes what happens is people in power or who in a position where people are listening to them, they lose it a little bit. Because even if when we think about our law enforcement, we think about our politicians. Let me give those two specifically, okay? Come on, you got to believe that 9.5 out of 10 of them don't go into those positions wanting to be dirty. But they get in there and then something happens. There was a great movie I saw. I don't even know when it was officially supposed to have come out, but I saw it like last month or so, called Black and Blue. And it talks about the dilemma of a young lady who's a police officer, a black lady, and so she, I'll give you a spoiler alert, but you know what? That's they show you in the trailer anyway. She ends up partnering with another a senior black cop who's dirty, and he's, and him and some other white detectives are, shaking the drug dealers and in business with them. And by accident, from her trying to do her job and be a diligent police officer, she ends up seeing, what they do. And now the whole movie is about them trying to get her so that she can't squeal on them. And so there's a dilemma for her of being an actual good police officer and being black. And so it's a great movie, but again, it's about life. It's about the types of things we learn in life and the power. When people get into power, it changes you. Power that's why I wanted to make it today's topic. It changes you. And so that's why what I've decided to do is I'm going to share 2 poems with you. And I'm doing something a little different today. I've done it in the past before, but I haven't done it in a while. And that is I'm going to break down my poem to show you, take you inside of how I wrote it and what the message is that's coming out of it. And, so it's sort of like when you were in school. Remember when you had to do literature, poetic interpretation, and somebody said, oh, well, I think the poet was saying this. And then somebody else says, no, I think the poet was saying that. What's up, Vic? And I always get a shout out when my family comes on. And then the teacher says, no, this is what the poet was saying. I always like to say, you know what? I want people to get what I'm saying. So even in my books of poetry, I have 4 books of inspirational poetry, and they give you a story about why the inspiration behind certain poems that I wrote, not about every single one. Sometimes it takes a block of poetry and say, these next 6 poems are this and that. So it becomes a learning and literary experience for you as well. That's what I hope you'll do. Whenever you have a gift, if you can find a way to share that gift, it can make a difference in everybody's life. So let's move on to what I'm doing today, like I said, with power. So I'm going to share 2 poems with you from my book, I Found Out I'm Living. I can't show you the title right now because it's actually going to be me retitling a book that I had called Your Name Came to Mind. But I've actually changed that, and because I've updated and added some things to it. And so I'll have the book in-house within the next couple of weeks and available for sale. It's called I Found Out I'm Living, an Affirmation of Life. So it's the sequel to my first book, I Found Out I'm Dying, a celebration of life. And what I did with that book is there's another meaning there. Number one, it means that we're all dying from the day we're born. Get over it. Right? I found out. I know that I'm going to die one day, even if it's just from old age. So I found out I'm dying. And so now what happens is we get caught up in the headlines and we miss the subtitles, because the subtitle of the book is a celebration of life. Whoa, I found out I'm dying. Oh, what, you got cancer? You got no. I'm celebrating life. I found out that one day I'm not going to be here. So that's why I've created my live it list. Is because I know that one day I won't be here. So I'm just doing the things that I want to do while I'm here. Oh man, is this you know what, Haas? I meant to get on earlier with you and see if we could check your filters, because there's definitely something wrong with your filters, that everybody else can see me and you can't, or and that I can't see you. But God bless you both. I just figured out how to be able to see the stream. Okay, but good to have you on there, Haas. And then so I'm going to first read this first poem, and the first poem is called Power Unveiled. Power Unveiled. When we realize how truly powerful we are, we must now overcome fear. When I wanted, I saw what to strive for. As my need grew, I knew just what to do. And now that I'm there, I must choose what I can share. For the air up here is new, and its exhilaration is not so unfamiliar to my ego, nor uncomfortable to my touch, unpalatable to my taste, illogical or unrecognizable. Yet my neighbors are doubt, disbelief, and caution. And as I consider their comfort, they exhibit more unrest, and I become prone to shut them out. Instead, I invite them up. Power Unveiled. And so what I want to do is, like I said, I want to combine the poem with one of my affirmations. So the affirmation I want to combine that with is positioning our words elevate rewards. Positioning our words elevate rewards. In other words, when you put your words in the right position, it changes how the power structure goes. So I'm going to go back over the poem and show you how positioning the words made a difference. Okay. So the first thing that, is the first, one of the biggest points that's in this poem is that we have a fear of success. The poem is talking about the fear of success. Power unveiled. See, we're not afraid to fail. The pity party shows up to justify your failure when you fail. Oh, they weren't going to let a blank person like you have that. Okay, see, so, and then when you see, that's the whole point. When we realize how truly powerful we are, we must now overcome fear. And that's it. That's what it is. It's the fear of success. Once we know how powerful we are, we have to overcome the fear of success. Because now that we've made it, am I going to abuse the power? And by the way, I think that's a beautiful fear of success in some ways. But it's a good introspective, it's a great self-check, but it's one that you've got to check and say, no, I'm not going to abuse my power. And then have that, good feeling about yourself and knowing who you are. Okay, yeah, good. Thanks, Haas. Yeah, check your connections. Because I even went in Facebook and tried to see if there was something in there, and I couldn't find it. Okay, but yeah, you want to check yourself when you get into power, so that you can know that you are not abusing it. So because and the reason we're afraid of success, again, there's my point, is that we got the pity party. When you fail, oh well, they weren't gonna let a black person do that. They weren't gonna let a woman do that. You're a tall person. And now you start to feel good about failing. Because you say, yeah, that's right. Yeah, it wasn't that other person was a better fit. It was discrimination, and see, we instantly fall back. It's called a pity party. When in fact, what you need to do is just check yourself. We like to say we believe in God. Well, if it's for me, God will give it to me. And then when we don't get it, we got a whole big problem, a whole lot of drama. No, if it was for you and God didn't give it, then God didn't give it to you, then it wasn't for you. There's something else for you. And while you're busy lamenting over what you've now decided was for you, but God didn't give you, you're missing your blessing. Because part of what he wants to see, if we were to put God in human feelings, what he wants to see is you say, thy will be done. See, submit to God's will. Is it real? Do you believe the Lord's Prayer when you say it? Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. Can you commit to God's will being done? And so once his will is done, now you have to say, do you accept the decision? That's up to you. That's up to you and your faith. So beware of the fear of success. Then the poem goes on to say, when I wanted, I saw what to strive for. As my need grew, I knew just what to do. And now that I'm there, I must choose what I can share. And so that's what I say. After we come from the fear of success, we have to look at the haterade. I call them the haterade handful, because they show up to minimize your celebration. Once you've made it, you knew what I knew what I wanted, and I saw what to strive for. And as my new need grew, I knew what to do. I saw that this is what I wanted. I saw that this is how hard I needed to work to get it. I saw that this is what I needed to sacrifice to be able to make it there. And now that I'm there, I have to choose what I can share. Because see, if I let everybody know what I went through to achieve, then they become the haters. See, the haters want to minimize your success and your celebration. They want to tell you that you were lucky. They want to tell you that it'll never happen again. Oh, you think you're one of them now? Oh, whose butt did you kiss? See, that's what the haters want to do. That's why I call them the haterade handful. Because once you've gotten to some place, you've gotten to a position of some type of power. It doesn't have to be immense power, but if you are supervising, you're in control, you're a parent, you're a team captain. Once you got into that spot, you got to be, well, I don't want to say anything, because if I tell so-and-so, then they're going to say this. And that's what you do. You choke off your own celebration. And here's what happens. They say, you must think you're one of them, now as if you're somebody else because you're made in charge. But they have evolved to them. And they, by the way, is T-H-E-Y, the haters, especially you. Sometimes we hate ourselves. We stop ourselves from being successful, and then we want to blame somebody else. So they, the haters, especially you, become them, the haters, especially me. I become my own hater because I decide that I want to please somebody else who can't accept me for who I am. And they won't. And they convince me that I've been lucky and I kissed somebody's butt and I didn't deserve to get the promotion. And now I start to hate on myself, because I have now, I have beaten down my own celebration based on what they think. But you know what? You have to recognize that they don't have the self-confidence. So they have to find a way to keep you down. Watch out for your haterade handful. They don't have the self-confidence. So they have to find a way to keep you down so that you can't be confident as well. So if we move on with the poem, there's a line that says, for the air up here is new, and its exhilaration is not so unfamiliar to my ego, nor uncomfortable to my touch, unpalatable to my taste, illogical or unrecognizable. See, what you've got to do is, those haters are negative, and negativity becomes comfortable. See, they're comfortable being negative because it senses and it enjoys submission. Once you give up, once you decide that you are not going to make it, then it makes it easier for them to get in. If you're doing nothing to erase doubt, in other words, you have to erase doubt. If you're doing nothing to erase that doubt in your mind, okay, then you have to learn to trust your faith. And I say step up on faith as well as step upon faith. Step up on your faith, and know that those people who are trying to knock you down and keep you from going forward and minimize your success are just haters, and it's negativity, and they become comfortable. See, once they see that you are backing down to their ignorance, they say even a little bit more. They get comfortable. And that's why the poem says the air up here is new. See, now that I'm in this powerful position, I haven't been here before. This is kind of new. Oh, you mean now I can do that? You mean now I can ask you to do this? It's new, but its exhilaration is not unfamiliar to my ego. In other words, my ego had me in this position before I got here physically, right? When you want a promotion, your ego has to go first. You say, I want a promotion. That's ego. Ego is not always a bad thing. It's confidence. So my ego says, I want a promotion and I deserve it. Isn't that what the interview is about? Is you, because they say, why should we bring you into this position instead of someone else? And you say, well, because I have this, this, and that. That's your ego saying, I deserve it. So my ego is not unfamiliar with the air up here because my ego has already gotten there. But and it's not nor uncomfortable to my touch. See, yeah, I'm used to, I'm ready to be here. And unpalatable to my taste. So see, now I'm using the five senses. So my exhilaration is not so unfamiliar to my ego, how I feel, uncomfortable to my touch, unpalatable to my taste, illogical, what I hear, or unrecognizable. See, I know what success looked like. I know what power looks like. I'm in that spot right now. That's what your ego is saying. You want to be the supervisor? Here's what's going to, you're going to change the way you dress. You're going to change the way you walk. You're going to change the car you drive, whatever the changes that you're going to make. But these are things that you're going to do. Your senses are going to change according to who you are now. It changes your attitude. Of course, you have to have a good attitude before you get there. If you wait to be in a position of power to start using your power or exhibiting it, then you are not the right person for that position. And you won't be lasting there very long because you don't really have power. You have a position and a title. Power means that people respect you. Excuse me. Power is respect, the real power, lasting power. And it's to respect where you can get people to work with you, not for you, but to get that common goal together, to get things done. So don't be in denial. Don't be in denial because, all of these things that your ego is saying is happening for you, they're going to stay. Meanwhile, the negative people are not going to go away either. The negative people are going to stay there. So that's why what you want to do is make sure that you have hope. Recognizing that HOPE, having overpowered evil. You can beat negativity one-on-one. If our problems just showed up one-on-one, we'd be fine. But don't they say just like death comes in threes, challenges come to heap on our plate, and we just have so much to do. If we could just deal with those problems one at a time, we would win. Well, how about this? If you think that's the formula, deal with the problems one at a time. Your problems, your biggest challenges didn't come out of nowhere. They built over time. So you don't always have to erase or eradicate every single thing one at a time. Take your time and chip away and break down your problems. You don't give them your full attention. They are minor inconveniences working towards your testimony. That's what a problem is. So you have to always have hope. Know that you have overpowered evil. You can beat any challenge, any problem one-on-one. So that's how you want to fight. Beat them one-on-one. Don't jump up and decide that you got to take care of, knock them all down at once. And so that's why the poem says, my neighbors are doubt, disbelief, and caution. See, those are the evil. That's the negative. Those are the evil that we have to overcome. And as I consider their comfort, they exhibit more unrest. See, that once I've got doubt, disbelief, and caution, when they're comfortable with being, oh, good, I'm making him uncomfortable. Oh, yeah, he's not believing himself. He's doubting himself. They get uncomfortable, they get comfortable, and now they get even harder. Now they instead of just saying, oh, good, he doesn't believe in himself. He's doubting. He's uncomfortable. They're like, okay, good. Now let me make him disbelieve in himself even more. Now let me make him even more uncomfortable. See, they exhibit more unrest. And I become the prone to shut them out. Yes, I got to get rid of these problems. I don't want to hear anything, I can say, no. No, but I say instead, I invite them up. And that takes us back to hope. See, my problems are not going to go away. And I can't block them out just by holding them over my ears. But I can deal with them one at a time, give them a little bit of time each day, each setting, and eradicate and erase them. See, so instead, I invite them up. Problem, you're not going to go away. You're comfortable sitting there, disbelief, doubt, caution. You're comfortable, sitting on my shoulders. But instead of you just being comfortable, you decided, okay, now that I've got you not believing in yourself, I want to make you believe in yourself even less. I want to make you even more cautious to where you don't dare to take any kind of steps. When in fact, one of the reasons you got that promotion is because you took steps, right? That was the whole reason you got the promotion. You saw a vision of something that could work for the department and help your coworkers and people, and then you made that move. And now for you to back down and not take it, you're going to lose that spot. So that's why it's important to recognize that you have to unveil your power. Let it come out and recognize that you deserve it. So that's why my answer to you is don't surrender to negativity. How you say what you say will cultivate your power to control your vocabulary rather than allowing your vocabulary to control you. So see that you deserve to be in that seat of power. See that you deserve to be somebody else's messenger because you've chosen somebody as your messenger. And so, that can become something that can bring you comfort and peace. You want to be at peace. You don't surrender to negativity. Sign up to positivity. Sign up and recognize that if you control what you say, because when you control what you say, if you control what goes out, then you will also control what comes in. Because I'm not going to send out a positive message and then make room for a negative one. When I send out a positive message, I'm making room for another positive message to take that one up even just a little higher. So I offer this. Thank you for those thumbs up. I can see it. Hey, Diane, what's up, homegirl? And what's up, Mona? How you doing? And Carolyn, good. Chicago in the house, Mona. I'm Carolyn and Mona in North Carolina. What we got here? I see some comments. Indeed. Thank you, Vic. Thank you. Yeah. See, so yeah, it really is about pace. Y'all know me. I'm about pace and slowing down. So what I want to do is offer you the second poem. Oh, and by the way, and what I say, so that was positioning our words, elevate rewards. Okay, so that's what I meant again about controlling your vocabulary rather than allowing your vocabulary to control you. Talk to yourself. Talk to you. If you say, oh, well, you can talk to yourself, but just don't answer yourself because then you're crazy. I say, make sure you answer yourself. If you would take the time out to talk to yourself, who better to answer you than you? Because a lot of times we do have the answers. We just need to talk it out sometimes. So have that conversation. It's prayer. It's positive affirmation. It's what you decide to listen to in music, what you decide to watch on TV, who you decide to have a conversation with. That's all talking to yourself because you're taking in some words and some knowledge and deciding, am I going to use that? How am I going to use this? What will I be able to, does that apply to me? So we are constantly talking to ourselves. Go on and be conscious about it and recognize that that's the type of power you have, that you can be conscious about how much of a blessing you are to yourself, because then you'll be an even better blessing to us. So this next poem I offer is kind of a prayer, and it's called We've All Got Power. See, now that you've unveiled your power and you let your ego say to you, yeah, I belong up here. Yeah, I belong up here. Let's do what I came to do, because people are going to support you. I remember when I first started working when I was working at the Wall Street Journal, and I got a promotion from a sales rep in Maryland to a sales manager in Chicago. And so I went from where I supervised 2 part-time staff members to where I was now supervising a staff of 17 in 5 states with 5 cities with a 12-state geographical territory. And so, yeah, I came into this type of power, and I had to learn how to be a good manager. I wasn't instantly a good manager. I mean, they hated my guts. You know what I remember what I did is that one of the first things I did, this is like Power Unveiled, right? One of the first things I said, okay, good. Yeah, I belong here. They saw me as a good sales rep, so therefore they made me a sales manager. So therefore I need to make everybody do what I was doing as a sales rep so that they can be better sales rep. That was my thinking. You know, I was 30 at the time. And, and that was what I was thinking. That's how I saw it. I was at 32. And so I start telling everybody what to do. And every time they send me a sales letter, a follow-up letter they sent to a client, I edited it and said, you need to do this. And so after 60 days, after 2 months, I sent around a survey and had them send it to an anonymous location, one of our other offices. See, we didn't have the internet and all of that stuff. And but they had to type it out so I couldn't recognize handwriting. And it just asked them, how was I doing as their manager? And I was excited to hear about how wonderful I was. Out of my 17 people, 15 of them couldn't stand me. One was on the bubble, and my secretary liked me because she knew that what I was doing was out of a clear heart. She knew that I wasn't actually trying to be nasty. I thought I was doing the right thing because I would talk to her. Here's what I'm going to send to so-and-so. And so she'd see my thinking, but they didn't see it. So I had to learn to be a better communicator as a leader, as the person in power. And so that's what you need to do as well. Can you slow down? I always say, no, I can't put it in somebody. You laughing at me, Vic. It was funny, because we had Vic at the time. I called it doing it the Ed Koch. Because remember, Ed Koch said, how am I doing? Right? That was a New York thing. So, but that's what we need to do. I can't put myself in somebody else's shoes, but I can say that I sat in your row because we're all going through something. And I didn't realize what I was doing to my staff, how I was burning all of the bridges. I was beating them down. I wasn't making them more productive. I was making them more skeptical of why I was put in that position. And in the process, they couldn't do their jobs. And since they couldn't do their jobs, I saw them not doing their jobs and never saw how it was the manifestation of how poorly I was doing mine. Introspection, y'all. That's why I say, talk to that ego, have that conversation with yourself. So this poem is called We've All Got Power. You've got to like power because power needs a home with a welcome mat. Power needs to know just where it's at. Power needs to hear its name again and again because power gets stronger and sometimes forget where it's been. Power doesn't have a favorite body, race, or sex. Power is what you make it and how you do what you do next. Power doesn't broadcast reason, and like this poem, it's happy to give a little rhyme. But you've got to like power to get the most out of it and use it best. On earth, you get a taste of your power, and when you like it, it's no longer a test. See, we've all got power, but you've got to know how to control your power and to put it in check. That's why I'm, preparing it as, delivering it to you as a prayer. And my prayer for power, POWER, praying our wealth is a eternal reward. See, I don't want the money to represent my power. I want my wealth, my eternal reward. Oh, I forgot to show you that was the title of the poem. Was We've All Got Power. And here's POW, praying that our wealth is eternal reward. That's what's going to be what makes me a wealthy person, is eternity. That's where my power needs to show up. Power is very dangerous, y'all, and it's abusive. We see it all the time. Again, that's what we see going on in our, with the protests we have in our police in our law enforcement, and in our politicians, and because I know, we all know that not every single policeman is dirty. We have friends who are in the police, and you notice I almost said in the military, and here's why. Because a lot of my military family, my National Guardsmen, are also police. A lot of times that's one of the cases. That's the National Guard. Our military is voluntary, and so the majority of them are in National Guard or Reserve, and so they have a daytime job, and then they also serve. So sometimes, a lot of them are, doubling as police officers, and it's a great fit for them. It's an easy transition because of the discipline that's required for both positions or both careers. So it's a lot of things that everybody's going through. Empathy is a strong, strong requirement. So even as you talk about being empathetic, think about how much of a sacrifice you want to make to be empathetic. because it's not an easy road. Hey, what's up, Terry Love? Good to see you watching. All right. Okay. So that's the prayer, is recognize that we've all got power, but you've got to know how to put your power in check. We all know somebody that has abused their power. But what we have to also know is that, like I say, a good 9.5 times out of 10, they didn't intend to abuse it. It's tough when you get into a position of power, because suddenly you know what happens. It's not always you. A lot of times it's your friends, the people who you now have power over. Now that you're the boss, now that you're the supervisor, suddenly they decide that, well, hey, but we're supposed to be homies. You're not supposed to treat me that way. You're supposed to treat me differently. No, it's, you want to. As an entrepreneur, I want to be able to give my friends a discount, excuse me, on a speaking engagement, on products that I have. I want to, but in the process of wanting to do that, then I will not make any money. And then I'm going to have to ask them to lend me money, and then wow, why you want to borrow? It's so it's important for me to have fee integrity in my speaking, as well as value in the products that I sell. So you want to give your homies a break, but you can't always. And so if you think that's a different transition, it's not. It really is talking about the same thing. Because if you decide to become an entrepreneur, I want to be able to help you there, because right now, a lot of people are thinking about entrepreneurial careers as we deal with the pandemic. Because some will have to think about entrepreneurial careers, because they will not be able to go back to their companies. Maybe their company has decided to downsize. Maybe their company actually went out of business. So you don't get mad at the company. They're in business to stay in business so that they can pay as many people as possible and still make a profit so that they can pay as many people as possible. You see that victorious cycle? But we lose sight of it because we get to, well, it's personal. Why are they doing this to me? Why you keep her? Why'd you keep him? It's a tough decision. And if you become an entrepreneur, you're going to find more and more of those tough decisions. Parents, it, especially if you've got multiple kids, but even if you've got one kid, there's a lot of tough decisions you have to make between what you're going to do for your child and what you're going to do for your job or your friends. And now, if you don't have kids, don't you still have tough decisions in terms of, am I hanging out with this person? Or, I've got two options of where I need to go right now. We've got a lot of tough decisions, y'all. And when we have to make those tough decisions, somebody's not going to be pleased. Please make sure that you please yourself. But if you're using your power properly, when you please yourself, you'll please the masses, because everything works to the good of God. And if you're using God's power, which is what? Love. If you're using love as your main ingredient, as the main guiding post for using your power, then it's going to come out all right. Even some of the people who don't like it initially may sign up for it later and see how you made the right decision. It's tough because you don't know what they're going through that makes them not want to agree with you right now. And we're in a world where it's not a requirement that everybody agrees. And I'll minimize it. Instead of a world, the United States, that's what we are built on, is difference of opinions. That's what a democracy is about. The aristocracies, with the dictatorships, where no one's supposed to have another opinion. But we are specifically groomed to have different opinions. So let's find the best ways that we can to share those opinions, as well as express them. What's up, Darryl White? Right? What's going on? And what's that? Brera Jones. Okay, good to see y'all. I can see you on my phone thing. So as we come to an end, I just want to say, use your power carefully. But don't ever doubt that you have power. And recognize that you give people power as well. Okay? I thank you for the power you give me by joining in on my broadcast, sharing my message. See, I'm not going to minimize the value of that. And that's what sometimes people want you to do. Oh, no, I'm not in power. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. You are powerful. Use it properly. If you like copies of either of those poems, you can just send me an email. Where'd that go? Send me an email to sporty@sportyking.com, and I'll send you a wonderful, colorful PDF copy of either of the poems, Power Unveiled or We've All Got Power. You can just say, send me the poems, and that'll be fine. And would you say, Vic, peace and blessings to all? Yes, thank you all. Peace and blessings to you all. Also, I want to say, if you haven't signed up for it yet, one of the things I'm going to be doing next Tuesday, the 18th, is my Masters of Change, Embracing Challenges, Success. Success is challenge. And the reason that says guidance is because what I've done is I've taken the word change and made us see that change is what success is all about. And so I made, oh, good, Haas, I got you this time. Yay! All right. But what I made us see is that change is choices. Well, let's see where we got up there. It's choices. Let me get the Haas out of the way. It's choices, hardships, accomplishments, negotiations, guidance, and empathy. We don't see that broken down there, but that's what change is all about, and that becomes the key to success, is the changes that we make. And with each broadcast of that session, what I do is I take a different letter to focus on. So we've already focused on the CHAN, so we're now focusing on the G, and then we have the E before we finish the series, and then I'll restart the series again. But if you haven't registered, this is free. So please come on in and register. Masters of Change, Embracing Success's Challenge. And as you can see there, by the way, the challenge, CHALLE, change is just challenge with an LLE in the middle. And the LLE is life's learning experiences. What experience can you get out of your life that will make a difference in how you see yourself as successful? So it's good to have y'all on there. Good to see you, Tony. Dropped in, got off of work. Yeah, Tony had to go back and get a job. So Haas, it was in my app setting in my Facebook. Okay. All right. Great to know that as well. But again, please, sporty@sportyking.com. If you like copies of the poems, remember that most importantly, Glue Monday, Wednesday, or Friday are here to remind you of that genealogy of power that you have. It's here to remind you not only that you have power, that you want to be comfortable with power, and recognize again that the power is in God's love, and it's also in your hands. Thank you for letting me be in your hearts. And I'll see you again in 2 days, 4 days, 7 days. It's your choice. God is good. Have a marvelous Monday. Over and out. Ciao.